So let us find out the answer to this question. Why do we really need constructors? So within the IntelliJ IDE, we have our default constructor and also the parameterized constructor. Now within the main.java, let us write our code. So first of all, let us remove all the code of, let's say, dog. And now we are left with only the code for rectangle. So here we are creating the rectangle object and then defining the value of the length and breadth, right? Now when we use the new rectangle, it simply creates a new object inside the heap memory. Now if you notice here, we are having rectangle followed by bracket open and bracket close. Now if you notice inside the rectangle.java, we have rectangle followed by bracket open and bracket close. So when this statement is actually executed, it simply triggers the default constructor within the rectangle.java class. So here, let us write our code. Let's say default constructor triggered. And here for the parameterized constructor, let us again write our print statement. Let us print out the parameterized constructor triggered. And now let us try to run our code from the main.java. So here we got the default constructor triggered. So when this statement is executed, rectangle, it simply calls for the default constructor, right? And then we are assigning the value of length and breadth. Now here in this case, we are assigning the value of length and breadth soon after we create the object. Now what if we initially know the length and breadth values? So for that, we can simply use the parameterized constructor that accepts the parameter of float length and breadth. So within the main.java, let us create the rectangle R2 object equal to new rectangle. Now here, if I simply pass few parameters, let's say length as 20.4f and the breadth as, let us assume 18.2f. Now let us run the code and let's see what happens when this statement is executed. So there we go, for rectangle 2, parameterized constructor was actually triggered. Now what happens is that this constructor is basically a special kind of method, right? So the Java virtual machine in the runtime looks for the best possible match. So there it finds two parameters. Now within the rectangle.java, we have a special constructor defined that accepts the two parameter, right? So thereafter this constructor was actually triggered. Now what is the benefit of passing these two values within this constructor? Now the primary purpose of using the constructor in Java is to initialize our instance variable, right? So within this, what we can do is, let us remove all the code and use this length, right? So let us use length equal to the incoming length, that is this float L, and then use this breadth equal to this B. So when this constructor is triggered, it simply supplies the value to this length and breadth. So from the main.java, if you try to print out, let's say r2.length and also r2.breadth, then you will simply get the value as 20.4f and 18.2f. Let us now run the code. So there we go, we are getting the value as 20.4 and 18.2 as expected for this object of R2. So always remember, if you know the initial value of the instance variable, then you can simply create the parameterized constructor. So this is the beauty of the parameterized constructor, that within one statement you are able to provide the values for the length and breadth by simply passing the values inside the constructor itself. Unlike in case of default constructor, we had to again write code in order to give the value of length and breadth by writing two more lines of code. Now at the end of this video, I will give you a very small code practice. Now similar to what we have done in case of rectangle.java, we have defined two constructors, right? Now in case of dog also, you need to create the default constructor and also the parameterized constructor. So take it as an assignment and we will check out its solution in the next video.